And welcome to episode 118 of the Giddy Knits podcast. As always, I am Helen and I am coming to you from Dundee in Scotland, where I live with my husband Tom and my two boys, Arthur, who is 8, and Jasper, who is 5. Today is Monday the 25th of April, and as always, this is my knitting and crafting podcast. Welcome back. I never know quite what to say for introductions. They always feel very, very awkward. I either do the same thing every week and then I feel like I'm being boring because I'm just saying the same thing, or I try and say something new and it feels completely wrong. I don't know. Anyway, yes, welcome back. Hello. If anyone is new, then yeah, this is my crafting podcast where I talk about whatever I've been working on in the time since I last podcast. And I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns. Yeah, welcome to my chaotic dining room. I'm just looking at the shelves behind me and I swear they get messier and messier each week. It really is I need to tidy it up. We have had a date though for the garage conversion. I've talked about it on the podcast before, but we're having our garage converted into it'll mostly be an office space for me because I currently work out of our garage, which is cold and not very nice. So we're having it converted into a room, which will work as mostly an office for me, but we'll also put the sofa bed in there. So it'll double up as a spare bedroom when people come and stay, which is exciting. It's felt like quite a long time. You know, these things take a while, but we finally have a date. It will be happening in June. Typically, they're starting the week before I've got the wool Monty, which is fine. It just means that I need to be organised because I won't be able to dye the entire time they're here. I'm not going to be able to dye yarn. And it's going to take about 3 weeks to be completed. So I need to be on the ball. I need to get everything prepped and I need to get everything dyed in advance. I need to dye clubs in advance. I need to make sure that all the dyeing for wool Monty is done in advance. Our dining room, this room, is probably going to get completely full of all of my stock and everything that's in the garage currently. And including probably other parts of the house until it's completed. So it's going to be carnage and chaos for a few weeks, but it will be well worth it. And when it is done, hopefully I will have a nice podcasting area back, kind of a bit like where I used to podcast in the old house, because I'm planning to be back on the sofa bed again, and hopefully have some shelves and stuff back up on that wall behind me. So it will be less chaos behind me. Although I do know some of you like kind of spotting games that you also own in the game shelves, and maybe even occasionally spotting books, I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling. I promise this episode will not be over an hour long like last week's. I don't have as much to share as I did last week, but what do I have? Let's start there, shall we? My tea is too hot. I want to drink my tea. I'm going to start off with quick announcements as always. I've got a nearly finished object to share with you. I've got a couple of works in progress to share with you, including one that you haven't seen for a very, very long time that I picked up this weekend. I've got a couple of new cast ons, which I did talk about them last week, but they hadn't technically been cast on, so I still feel like they come under new cast ons, but I've got those to share with you. And then I'll finish up with a quick shop news section at the end as well. Yeah, that's what's happening. So let's start with announcements. Just a quick one, as always, to say that we've got the Giddy Yarns Make-Along running, and the next quarterly prize draw will be at the end of July, I think. April, May, June. At the end of June. Will be at the end of June. Any project that uses at least 50% of my yarn is eligible to enter, and you can find out where to enter underneath the video, where all the show notes will be, and also links to kind of our Ravelry group and our Mighty Networks, and where you can find me elsewhere on social media, and all of that kind of stuff will be down below. So yeah, that's the announcements. Nearly finished object. I have a nearly finished object. I finished and cast off my Cupid's Arrow wrap. Here it is in all its glory. What I haven't done yet is woven in all the ends. I did start, you can see, I have made a start and I've woven in those ends, and then I got bored. I need to just sit down at some point and just weave in all of these ends and then I need to give it a good block. And then I need to make the tassels because I think I said this last time. But yeah, what I think I'm going to do is make 2 tassels to go on this end. So they'll go on these points here. And I'm going to use like the second half of the colours to make those tassels. And then at this end, I'm just going to do 1 tassel on the point, and I'm going to use kind of this half of the colours to make that tassel. So yeah, there's just some finishing, some final finishing to do, but it is off the needles. And I'm not in any rush to finish it dreadfully, which is bad because I feel like it's just going to sit there for ages and not get finished because I want to work on other things. But yeah, I need to prioritise it, don't I? I need to prioritise getting these ends woven in. If you are new, this is the Cupid's Arrow wrap, which is a pattern by Ellie of Craft House Magic. I altered the pattern. Basically, the pattern had the exact same kind of shape and chevrons and colour transitions and garter stitch sections, but it also had some eyelet lace sections as well. But I decided I didn't want to do the eyelet lace sections because I wanted this to be really mindless. So I just did the garter stitch pattern all the way through and kept the colour transitions the same, and just basically just didn't do the lace, just did it as garter stitch. And I'm really happy with it. It's a lovely length at the moment. It will be obviously, don't know what I'm doing. There we go. It's a brilliant length at the moment, and I've not blocked it yet, and it will grow even more with blocking. But yeah, 1 Cupid's Arrow wrap, finally off the needles. The yarn I used was the Spectrum Fibres Advent Calendar from 2020, I believe. So yeah, it's taken me a little while to get this one finished. But I feel like now I've got an Advent project completed, I can maybe pick something to make with some of my Advents from 2021, which will be exciting. Okay. I'm going to try my tea. It's probably still too hot. Yep. Works in progress. I'm going to start with the boring one that you've seen lots of already. And that is Tom's March Colour of the Month sock. But I am so close to finishing it. I've got multiple pairs of needles in here just to confuse things. I'm very close to finishing it, as you can see. I think I've got another, what's that, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60... probably another 10-15 rows, something like that, before I get to the toe. So not too much at all. I kind of wanted to finish this weekend, and then I got distracted by another project, so I didn't finish it off. But hopefully in the next few days I will get this finished. And I'm just going to do the contrast colour for the toe. But yeah. And this uses my March Colour of the Month. I think there might still be a few left in the shop, I'm not sure. But April's Colour of the Month will be coming this week, this Friday. I need to cast on, that's why the second pair of needles, I've just poked myself in the eye with them. That's why the second pair of needles was in this bag, because I need to cast on the April Colour of the Month before the shop update, so that I've got a little swatch to share in social media and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I know said that was Arthur's sock. Definitely not Arthur's sock. Does anyone else do that? Get the names of their husbands and children muddled up? It drives me mad. I'm dreadful. It's even worse whenever my brother and us are together, because my brother is called Tim and my husband is called Tom, and I cannot get those names the right way round when we're all together, and it's really, really weird. But also really annoying. Yeah, so I end up sort of saying like Tim, Tom, Tim, the one that's my husband, not my brother. Very confusing. Anyway, I'm rambling again. Tom's Colour of the Month sock is coming along. It is definitely coming along. Hopefully that will be a finished object for next week. And hopefully I will get the April one cast on because, yeah, I need that swatch. So that's that one. The other work in progress that I picked up, which is still living in a Christmas bag. It's living in this lovely Christmas bag from Ellie at Craft House Magic. I really should take it out of a Christmas bag though. But this is my dragon. Oh, I didn't bring the book over. this is my dragon. So I started this amigurumi dragon, ages and ages and ages ago. It's from the, I'm gonna have to go get the book. Okay, so it's from this book here, Unicorns, Dragons and More, Fantasy Amigurumi. It's by Meteor Books, and I'm actually making this little guy on the front. But this has all kinds of fun fantasy, different creatures and stuff like this. This is my first big amigurumi project. I've made a couple of little things before. I'm not the best at following crochet patterns. That's very, very new to me. But I am finding that this book is brilliant if you are quite new, because it has all the different like stitches in the front of the book. That's my needle. I lost my needle. I don't know if you heard that. You would like hearing a pin drop. I lost my needle when I was sitting here yesterday afternoon sewing bits and pieces up on it, and I could not find it, and I looked all the way through this book, but now I've just opened the book and it's dropped on the floor. I'll probably still not be able to find it, but anyway, what was I trying to say? All the different stitches and stuff like that, not only does it have photo like picture images in there to kind of show you how to do it, but it also has little QR codes that take you to tutorials. So you can go and see a video tutorial of how all the different stitches are used and stitches are done, which is brilliant. I found that really, really helpful, because it's nice to just be able to refer back. I mean, like, when I picked it up this time, I had to refer back about how to do a magic ring, because that's something that I've not ever done in crochet before. That's not how I start my granny squares, and I'd completely forgotten. It's been so long since I've worked on the dragon, I'd completely forgotten how to do it. So I think it's really good, kind of beginner, it's beginner friendly. The other thing that I find really good is each pattern has, I don't know if I can show you this, each pattern has a skill level. So this one here, whatever he is, little unicorn, is a skill level 2. And they have various different skill levels as well. So like the little reindeer, it's not a reindeer, what is it? Periton. It's I don't know what it is. A half deer, half bird from Atlantis. That one's a skill level 3, so it's that little bit trickier. So most of them are kind of skill level 2 to 3. Oh look, there you go. So the Drake the Dragon is skill level 4. So there are some trickier ones in there, but there are also simpler ones in there. So it's a really good kind of mix of different patterns with instructions, and good for beginners too. Does that make sense? But yeah, shall I show you how I've got on? So last time you saw him, he was just a body. He has a body and he had eyes on, and I think that was about it. He now looks a bit like a slug. Here he is. So he has his nostrils, which I feel like they look a little bit like warts, but hopefully once it all comes together, it will make sense. He now has, it's not going to focus on him. There we go. He now has nostrils and ears and a little tummy, and he has a tail as well. So yeah, he does look a little bit like a slug at the moment, which I'm kind of finding quite cute. Arthur has now asked if he can have a slug, if I can make him a slug. I'm not sure that's going to happen. But the next step is to start on the legs, and I think once the legs are done, that's just going to look a lot more like a dragon, whereas obviously at the moment, yeah, he just looks like a slug. So he's got, I picked out some of the colours, bright colours to do. I just dyed up some DK minis. I wasn't sure how much I'd need, so I just dyed up a fair amount of DK minis. If it would focus, you'd be able to see better. So I went for orange for his tummy. I've gone yellow for his nose, and that's also going to be yellow for like his little fingernails and toenails, I think, as well. And then, where's the bag gone? I've also got bright pink, which I'm going to do for the spikes that go all the way down his back. And then I've also got a blue, which is going to be kind of the foot pads. Yeah, I think. So he's going to be quite bright and colourful. But with the yarn that I used, the main yarn is a Kate Celine yarn. I think it's a Christmas tree colourway. But with the bright coloured yarn I've used, I thought actually having bright coloured details would be quite good fun. So yeah, he's coming along. He's had a little bit of progress. And it's about finding time. I think the thing I struggle with him is that I have to find a time where I can actually sit down and concentrate on it, and I need to be able to kind of not have lots else going on. I need to actually be able to sit down and read the book, and it takes a bit more concentration, whereas some of the other knitting things I can do when there's stuff going on, or I can do while I'm reading a book or watching TV and stuff like that. But yeah, so far so good. It's had progress. Yeah, right. New cast-ons. I did cast on both of those new garments this week. So I'm going to start with the Aquamarine jumper because I've not made as much progress on this. But this should be pretty quick to knit up anyway. So last episode, I'm just trying to sort my yarns out. Last episode I was dithering over one of the colours because I realised that the base that I had it on was actually an MCN base, and I didn't really want to use that for a garment because I was worried about it kind of felting. So I went back through my stash and had a little look at what other colours I had that would go with what I was thinking, and I did pick out this one here, which is, did I put all the yarn bands in? I did, aren't I clever? I picked out this one here, which is a Corner of Craft colourway. This was part of her Knitical Roll Yarn Club. I Want to Stay Up to See the Sunrise, which was inspired by Bertrand Bell from Critical Role. I think this was the first one from this year. So I've got that one. So this is going to be the bottom colour. I'm doing it like a fade. This is going to be the bottom colour, and everything's going to be held together with this, which is my Dusk colourway, which I've dyed on DK. So everything's going to be held together with that. So that's the first one. And then we go into this colour, which is Beehive Yarns in the Rose Lichen colourway, I think. Yeah, Rose Lichen. So it's got some of those slightly darker pops in that go with the Bertrand Bell colourway, but it's also got kind of some greens and bits in there as well. And I think that's going to work nicely. And then from that, we go into this one, which is a little bit out of the colour, but I think once I've held it together with this, I think it will still work. But this one is Spectrum Fibres in, I think, the Love Hearts colourway. Yes. And again, that's got some of the greens and stuff in, so I think they will work together quite well, even if the tone of it is slightly different. And then finally, we go from that one into this one, which has also got some of the greens in and also some blues in, which I think will kind of match it up quite nicely. And this one is Hedgerow Yarns in the Lupins colourway, I believe. Yes, which was one of the Flower Power Fund ones. So yeah, they are the four colours. They'll go that way up the jumper, so they'll be lighter at the top and darker at the bottom, all held together with that colour. So I have cast it on, and I have done the bottom rib, and I've literally, that's kind of all I've done so far. So we've got these two together to start with, and this is kind of where I've got to. I've done the bottom rib, which I'm really enjoying. I'm really liking how it's knitting up together with the yarns held double. I think it's going to be really cozy. And basically, so what I'm doing is not just held double, it's one strand of the DK held with two strands of the fingering weight. So I'm actually pulling from the outside and the inside of the ball. And then I'm going to do the same transition. Well, I'm going to do a similar transition as, well, no. To work out all of the bits that I needed to work out the numbers that I wanted for the length and everything, I used the formula in the So Faded pattern, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, to work out how long I need to knit each section. And then I'm using about an inch transition. But I'm not going to stripe them during that transition. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop one of the strands of the main colour and hold it with one of the strands of this colour for an inch, and then go into holding two strands of this. So it will be that colour all the way through, but what I'm holding with will change slightly. And during that transition, I'm going to go from 2 strands to 2 strands, but different colours. I hope that's going to work, and I hope that makes sense. But yeah, hopefully I've done the maths correctly and I've worked it out for the right length. And then I just need to work it out for the sleeves, which is going to be a little bit more complicated because obviously the sleeves are longer. But the formula should work. I should just be able to put in the length I want for the sleeves and it will tell me how much I need to knit. Ish, she says. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a bit more complicated with the sleeves because obviously because the way it's knit bottom up. So you're only going to knit the sleeves up to the point of the yoke, and then that will change. So I'm hopeful. I mean, I've done the maths for the whole body, but I think what I need to do is work out, I think I need to get to the point where I split for the sleeves and work out where I am in the yarn. And then hopefully I should only need, yeah, I don't know. I'll work it out when I get to it. That's what I'll do. But yeah, there we go. My aquamarine is cast on. And it is now really mindless, basically. It's just round and round and round, holding the strands together until I need to change the colours, which is all done on length. So basically I'm going to be knitting for 4 inches and then changing the colour. So hopefully this will be quite a nice, easy, mindless project to grab in the evenings when I'm watching TV. And then the other garment, I do need a bigger bag. Unfortunately, this bag is not quite big enough. The other garment that I've cast on is my Maymar, I don't know how to pronounce it, Maymar cardigan, which a number of you, I believe, have knit. I'm obviously late to the party. I'm always late to the party with these things, but somebody suggested it when I was talking about looking for a new cardigan cast on. And I love the look of it. I was a little bit, as I've said before, a little bit daunted by the honeycomb brioche, but once I actually looked at the pattern and realised it's actually really simple, it's not as complicated as 2-colour brioche or anything like that, I'm excited about it. So I am knitting this in my Through the Wardrobe colourway, which is this colourway here. I'm holding up 2 balls because I'm alternating skeins. So because I'm using hand-dyed yarn, it's always a good idea when you're using hand-dyed yarn in a garment to alternate your skeins so that any differences between the batches, any differences between the skeins of yarn are less obvious. Because with hand-dyed yarn it's quite common for there to be differences between the skeins because obviously we not only do we dye in smaller batches than big kind of commercial yarns, but also our dyes aren't always as reliable and things can change very easily, so sometimes yarns come out differently. So yeah, alternate skeins to avoid that issue. But here we go. It doesn't look a lot yet, but I have cast on my cardigan. This one is knit top down, so I am currently doing, so this is the front left sleeve, and then the back, which is where you can see the best of the honeycomb brioche, and then other sleeve, and then front right. I'm really enjoying it actually. It's actually a lot simpler than I was expecting, which is brilliant. I am keeping track more with this because I'm having to kind of count rows and things, which means that when I sit down to knit this, I do need like my piece of paper with me, my pattern next to me, so I can tick off the rows, and I find that much easier to kind of keep up with it that way. So again, this is one that's going to need a bit of concentration, but what I've been doing is trying to build some extra knitting time into my work days, which has been annoyingly easy over the last week because I ordered yarn from my wholesaler, undyed yarn from my wholesaler last week, and not their fault at all. I ordered it on Tuesday, I think, and usually it's like a 24-hour thing, so I was expecting it by Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. Didn't arrive on Thursday. Well, a small part of it arrived. It was just over a box, so they sent it in 2 boxes. The small box arrived with my DK minis, and the rest of it didn't arrive, so I contacted them on Friday to kind of say, it hasn't come, it's not here. in a slight panic because I still need to dye the mini clubs, which I should have been dyeing last week. I've dyed the DK, but I've still got all the rest of it that needs to be dyed. And I heard from them this morning to say that it will be arriving on Wednesday, which is fine, but it means that I know my Parcel Force guy doesn't usually come until about 1-2 o'clock. So I won't be able to dye any of it until Thursday, and I am very low on yarn. So I went this morning thinking, right, okay, well I need to cake up some yarn so that I can warp during the week. I've got one skein of merino nylon in stock. That's not going to happen. So it's given me extra knitting time this week because there's work I can't do, which is a little bit frustrating, but oh well. The Beatrix Potter Club is all dyed up, and actually my job today, this afternoon, is to get that all skeined. I've spent the morning making the minis, so that one will be out in time, but yeah, I need to dye. I'm going to have to wait until Thursday to even dye the Minis Club. Yeah, frustrating when I'd ordered the yarn in plenty of time. Anyway, right, what else was I going to say? Yeah, so Maymar Sweater cardigan is on the go. It's going to take a while. You're going to have to put up with seeing a lot of it and small progress. But what I will do is I will pop, in fact, I think I've got one in here. I will pop a little progress keeper on just so that we can keep a little bit of a track on progress in between podcasts, because I always find that quite interesting. I always quite enjoy that. I popped this little one in here. I've got this, I'll put it on and then I can show you it. I'm just going to pop him on just there. I've got my little dragon from Hannah at Corner of Craft. There he is. We'll call him, we'll have a progress dragon on that one, and I'm pretty sure I have the little pig from the Laura at The Lonely Knitter to go as a progress one. Didn't somebody else, wasn't there another podcast I used to watch years and years ago? I'm sure there was a podcast who had a pig progress keeper, and it was always the progress pig. Whenever you saw them knitting garments, and I cannot for the life of me remember whose podcast it was that used to be on, but I vaguely remember somebody having a progress pig. Anyway, I'm going to have a progress pig, so I'm stealing their idea. Okay, that's my new cast-ons. There we go. Right, the final thing that I wanted to talk about was a little bit of shop news, actually. I don't have any yarny goodness to share this week, which is good considering how much I had last week. But I did have a little bit of shop news to share. First of all, I will be having a small shop update on Friday, the 29th of April at 7:30 p.m. British Summer Time, which is what we are now, which is Greenwich Mean Time +1, I think. I don't know, time zones always confuse me. And that will just be for my April colour of the month, which is here. So I haven't dyed up the minis yet. I think I'm going to do I haven't dyed up the minis yet because I don't have any minis in stock because they've not arrived. Anyway. What am I trying to say? I think I'm going to do like a fuchsia pink. It's going to be a bright pink mini to go with it, I think. we're going to embrace the pink for this month. But I'll pop up next to me this side the image from the Wombo Dream art digital image that this was inspired by, so that you can see that. And yeah, so I will have, as usual, 120 gram sock sets, 70 gram sock sets, and a couple of 100 gram skeins available in the shop update on Friday for the April colour of the month colourway, which I'm really loving. I'm actually really looking forward to casting this on. It's going to be a really fun colourway, I think. So yeah, that is that one. And then Sunday the 1st of May is my advent calendar launch. I talked about it a lot more in the previous episode, so if you missed that, then pop back and have a little look at that. If you don't want to watch the whole hour and 20 minutes, then that's fine. Underneath the description box there should be a section where you've got chapters, I think. I'm not quite sure. There's timestamps basically. And if you click on the timestamp, it should take you straight to that part of the video. So you should be able to skip straight to the Advent bit to find all the information about the Advent calendars. I will be doing payment plans and everything like that. All the details will be on the website. In fact, yeah, all the details will be in the listing on the website, definitely. But I've already put a few details up on the website about my launch time and stuff like that. Don't panic about them selling out immediately. I'm going to be doing, I did 90 last year, I'm going to be doing 90 at least this year. I may push it a little bit more than 90, but there's flexibility, and they will not sell out in a heartbeat. That is just not how Advents generally work for me. I'd imagine that you'll have a few weeks before they will completely sell out. So yeah, don't panic. If you're in a different time zone, it shouldn't be an issue. And if they do completely sell out, then I will open up a few more slots to anyone that gets in contact with me. There's flexibility with the Advent calendars, so don't panic. But yeah, that will be launching then. 7:30 p.m. Did I say that again? 7:30 p.m. British Summer Time on the 1st of May will be my Advent launch. And I will look forward to hopefully people wanting to buy it. Right, okay, I need to go do some work now. I need to go and skein all of the Beatrix Potter Club so that at least I can get that out this week. And yeah, there won't be a podcast episode next Monday because the kids are off school. It's is it because it's a bank holiday or is it an inset day? They've got a funny week. They always have a funny week in May where they're off on the Monday for the bank holiday and then they're off on the Thursday for an in-service day, but they're back on the Friday. So they're at school Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and it always really throws me. So yeah, they're not at school on Monday next week, so I'm not going to get a chance to sit down and record an episode. So we will just leave it 2 weeks. I will see you again in 2 weeks, although I'm hoping to pop up a couple of little vloggy bits in the meantime, but we will see. I was thinking of doing a little garden update vlog because Tom has been doing a lot of hard work in the garden over the last few months. Since the beginning of this year, and I thought I would share some of that with you. So as long as the weather holds out, at some point this week, I might do that. I might even do it at the weekend, actually, record it at the weekend, and Tom can get involved and tell you about all the different plants because I haven't got a clue, whereas he's done loads of research and knows what he's talking about. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry if this felt like a bit of a rushed episode. I feel like I've talked really, really fast and I've not had as much to show you as last week, but sometimes a shorter episode is also nice because you don't have to spend a week watching it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. Bye.